Okay, good morning, all. My name is Yusuf Jibril. We're glad to have you guys here today as well. It's a pleasure having you, Ellie. We are so much happy for your consistency, and we believe we can actually drive this boat together. Welcome to today's webinar session. Here I have my colleagues, Kelechi Okolo, I have Akin Adebanwo, I have Josh Akoveta. Josh Akoveta and Kelechi will be the anchors of today's training session, and myself will be moderating while Akim Adebanwo will also be in charge of questions and answering the session. In today's webinar session, we'll be exploring our products on surveillance systems, and we want to actually at least expose us to just beyond imaging. I mean, exploring those possibilities as relates to the technical competence ZKTeco has to offer in relation to surveillance and security systems. Right about now, I'll introduce you to, I will leave the floor for my colleagues, Josh Apoveta and as well Kelechi Okolo for their introduction and also to start up the webinar session going forward. Thank you all. Thank you for your attention and thank you for your presence. Josh, over to you, please.
Hi, everyone. Good morning and welcome to our webinar session today. Like my colleague rightly mentioned, we are going to be exploring our product on surveillance. I'm a business development manager with ZKTeco West Africa. And because we understand that most times in this market, surveillance is one of the fast-moving products. And the incident that surrounded the end SARS protest actually made people realize that surveillance is something that they should take serious. That is why it is fitting that at ZKTeco, we decided to team this webinar session as going beyond just imaging. Why is that necessary? Most times you see people who get across to you and they tell you, I need a camera. I just need a camera. As long as it's showing the face, that's all that matters. Yes, that is one of the unique features of a camera, putting a face to a name so that you can recall incidents, who was here at every given time. No doubt about that. But have you ever thought about the intelligence that comes with having a camera, the analysis that a camera can give you, and other add-on that you can get from your camera? This is what we'll be taking during the course of this webinar session. And that is why it is fitting that we have decided to say we are going beyond just imaging. With ZKTeco surveillance products, why we understand that you want to see what is happening, you want to see the image, but we're also giving you just more than that. Hence, that is why we have our team as going beyond just imaging. But before I dive into the product of the day, let's quickly look at ZKTeco, our capacity in terms of our CCTV and R&D. What capacity do we have? At ZKTeco, we have a capacity for R&D in our CCTV headquarters in Wuhan, China, and we can boast of having over 100 plus top engineers that are experienced in the field. And in this category of engineer in the units, under the hardware, there are different units that takes care of all the products in that category of the hardware. We have the units of those who take care of the MVRO for network cameras. We have those who take care of the DVRs, the IP cameras, and the IPPTC under the hardware category. Then for the software category, we have the unit that takes care of the ISP, the user interface, the video management, software and application that manage these cameras. Then we also have two platforms that manage this, and we also have staff who manage that. We have the cloud server for the cloud storage, and we have the peer-to-peer server for our black body camera. That's for cameras you can connect directly. But as a solution, we have cameras that are able to do facial recognition, license plate recognition, and it can be deployed to bespoke projects. So why we understand we have these cameras, we understand that some clients might have a unique need for their project. Hence, we have a people in our R&D team, in our ZKTeco R&D and CTV team that takes care of that project for bespoke clients who has this need. Still talking about our CTV R&D headquarters in Wuhan. What you see on your screen is just a picture of what it looks like, and you can see it's a massive facility that covers over 6,000 square meters, and our production line is able to produce over 300,000 units of camera in each capacity, each production line. So for clients who are particular about having a project and they want deployed as fast and as soon as possible, yes, ZKTeco has that capacity to deliver that. So with that being established, let's take a quick look at what we're going to be looking at during the course of this webinar. We'll be having a 5-part session. The first part will be looking about our ZKTeco ZK Biofish face light facial recognition solution. We'll also dive into the ZKTeco network cameras and their accompanying MVRO, as well as the AHD cameras and the DVR that manage it. Then we'll also be looking at the video management solution and the mobile application that runs this camera solution, CCTV cameras, CCTV concurrently. And also we're looking at the business and the use case of this product that my colleague Kelechi will be touching on. So talking about ZK Bioface. ZK Bioface, what is ZK Bioface? ZK Bioface is a facial recognition camera with an embedded facial algorithm that has the capacity to store and capture over 2,000 face templates. And for the ZK Bioface, we have them in our FI series. FI series, we have the FI 320 and FI 330. These are intelligent cameras that has the CMOS sensor and are 2.8 millimeters. These cameras, because they are smart cameras and because they are high-end cameras, they come with a built-in PoE, and you're able to do whitelisting and blacklisting with this camera. And for you to achieve this, you need a NVRO that has the same feature, the blacklisting and the whitelisting feature. So when we are talking about the blacklisting and the whitelisting feature, in essence, what we are talking about, we are saying that this camera is able to, if deployed at an office, it's able to differentiate a person who has perhaps been in another facility and was problematic, such that maybe he caused a scene or he did something. So because of that, that person might be blacklisted, such that in subsequent visits, the person is in the office, the camera is smart enough to pick that person and notify the administrator in the back end that a person of interest is in the premises. So with that notification, the admin can notify any other person who needs to take necessary action in view of that person. And this is something that you can achieve with the FI series of cameras. It's something that has multiple web applications supported, and it also comes equipped with a mobile application that you can view remotely. So for those who want a smart camera that can do all-in-one feature, can do quick capture, facial recognition, fast template capturing, the FI 320 and 330 series of ZKTeco, it's your go-to guy. And one thing that makes this unique is that it comes in a metallic casing, meaning it's strong, reliable, and durable. Still talking about the NVRO for facial recognition, I mentioned something before now that for you to get blacklisting and most of the IVA feature, by IVA feature, I mean intelligent video analysis feature of each camera, you need a fitting NVRO that has the capacity to do the features of this camera. So let's assume, for example, if you're throwing an NVRO that doesn't have a blacklist and whitelisting feature in the NVRO. Even if the camera has that feature, the camera, if connected to an NVRO, will not be able to do that because it's just like limiting the capacity of the camera. And these are the unique feature of the cameras, the NVRO that works with the facial recognition. They are able to do smart face retriever, intelligent video analysis. And this intelligent video analysis are for mostly IP cameras, network cameras that use PoE, and it can support up to 36 channel 4K video resolution. And this is something that you mean when you're talking about 4K resolution, we're talking about a high definition output in terms of video preview. And with this NVRO, you can get a back-end peer-to-peer cloud service where every footage captured is stored if you also want that. Looking at the schematics of how ZKTeco biophase work. A typical example of how ZK biophase work is what you see in the diagram. It gives you the option of quick facial capture with a deep learning artificial intelligence technology that is embedded in it. So with such a camera deployed, faces can be captured in real time and is sent to a facial recognition server and a management server. So when there is, let's say, a whitelist or a blacklist, there is an alarm, depending on if it's configured with your backend that is triggered. We can see the alarm there. So with such a schematics and this level of connection, you can use such device to even serve as a notification prompt or security alert. Every given time, a person of interest coming to the premises with such schematics, you get a notification. And it can be integrated with a third-party solution that most people might have already deployed. Still about how it works. The screen shot you can see there is just example of how it works, how it's able to capture using the fast facial recognition template. So a typical example is when a person comes in, the device is able to match the face by at least 90% accuracy to tell you if this person is actually a staff, that's for those that have been pre-registered or not, a person of interest or not, a blacklisted face or a whitelisted face, and you get your notification and alerts accordingly. Still on this product specification, what you see on your screen is a quick specification of our facial recognition cameras. It's able to do quick capturing of 1.2 20 restriction of facial recognition. It's able to capture a facial recognition template of 20 milliseconds per template. That's how fast it can capture. So meaning on average, it's able to capture at least 20 faces per second. So since we've discussed a little bit about our facial recognition and FI series of camera, let's talk a little bit about our HD, our IP cameras with their DVRO and NVRO that drives these products. Now let's look into our ZKTeco network cameras and their NVROs. ZKTeco IP cameras comes in different forms, shapes, and size. And for ZKTeco, we understand that customer might want to understand how our cameras are named, the nomenclature of our cameras. So for ZKTeco, we have our BL series, we have the EL series, we have the DL series, and we have the BS series. For this camera series, by this series, we are just trying to say that for the BL and BS series, these are bullet cameras that are best suited for outdoor use because of the way they are manufactured. They are best suited for outdoor use. Then we also have the ES series or the ES type of cameras. These cameras are eyeball cameras. Why Some clients might decide to use some of these cameras for indoor use, and for outdoor use, it is best suited for indoor. And we also have the dome types of cameras that are able to, that also come in two variants. We have the motorized dome and the non-motorized dome. And we also have the eyeball in two variants, in small and the large type. So for all our IP cameras, let's take a quick look at the features that you get. We are talking about a 2.9 inch lens. We are talking about a 2 megapixel with CMOS sensors. So talking about CMOS sensors, Sony CMOS sensors, let's talk a little bit about CMOS sensors. Most of us might be used to the idea of getting cameras, or let's say, let me use, for example, phone. I bought a phone some years ago, and when I bought the phone, the camera of the phone was so clear and crisp. But I noticed over time, as time passed by, the camera of this phone was becoming blurry and appears to be fading. This is largely related to the kind of sensor that is found in the cameras. So most times you find clients who tells you, okay, initially when I bought this camera, it was giving me good image, but I noticed over time it's now becoming blurry and foggy. It means the sensor that's on that camera is perhaps not the CMOS sensor. Sony CMOS or Sony Star-V sensor are high-end lens for cameras that are able to stand the elements. When I mean element, I'm talking about exposure to cold, heat, humidity, and other elements. So when you expose some camera lens to such elements as heat, rain, and all that, over time, they become blurry. Some of them will develop like a sweaty patch on the camera that will blur the camera. So if you're going for a camera, this is something to look out for. A camera with a good lens sensor, since that's what will deliver the optimal result you use. Else, you might find out that after a year or two of deploying your product, the camera that used to be very crisp and clear will start appearing faddish and blurry. Talking about the features of our IP cameras, we have them, the cameras are able to do 30 meters infrared range, built-in PoE, features to do blacklist and whitelisting, features where it can work with existing VMS and CMS. And something worth noting is for cameras that are meant to be positioned outdoor, they should be able to withstand lightning. And that is what ZKTeco IP cameras are promising, IP and AHD. Our cameras are able to withstand up to 6 kilovolts of lightning. So you don't need to be worried about lightning blowing out your cameras. And for this IP camera, they come with metallic casing, which means you should be able to withstand some fairly rough usage. And these are the accompanying NVRs that work with the cameras. The NVR are able to deliver the full features of this product. And it is worth noting that our cameras and NVR, they are ONVIF compliant. By ONVIF, we are talking about the Open Network Video Interface Forum. So if you are talking about a client that, let's say, has a existing camera that is using that belongs to brand ABC, but you want an NVR that can manage this brand ABC, you can be sure that ZKTeco NVR can manage most most cameras, rather PoE cameras or IP cameras that are in the market because of their NVIF compliance, ONVIF compliance rather, and it's able to work with third-party video management software cross-platform. Still talking about our PoE, we have the IP cameras. We have them in two variants. We have the PoE NVR cameras and the non-PoE NVR. So for the PoE cameras, they go with the PoE NVR. While for the non-PoE cameras, these are also IP, but they go with a non-PoE NVR to match their feature. And we have this NVR, both the PoE and non-PoE, available for clients who are interested in deploying for existing cameras that they might have. Though because of the ONVIF structure, most IP cameras are fast becoming PoEs. But for clients who already have such non-PoE deployed, we have MVR that can manage the non-PoE as well. So about our MVRO, they are RAID 10 compliant. By RAID, we are talking about a redundant array display disk. So this is just a technology of managing your storage, managing your footage. We understand that some memories that are captured in a hard disk are stored in your the volatile disk, your SSD, and your hard drive. But how well is it managed? And how can you retrieve it, even if you have a situation whereby your NVRO or DVR is faulty? How do you retrieve your CCTV footage stored on it? This is what RAID is all about. And for ZKTeco NVRO, they come in this RAID format, RAID 10 and RAID 15 accordingly. So you are sure of getting high performance, reliability, and saving cost with ZKTeco NVRs. Then for those who are caught in between, who want a DVR that can run certain aspects of IP and AHD together, we have our Pentabreed XVR that's able to manage some level of IP and also AHD together. So a typical setting is for XVR rather, for an 8-channel MVRO, you are sure of getting 4-channel for IP cameras and 4-channel that can also run AHD camera combined together to give you 8-channel. Or if you have a 16-channel XVRO, you can be sure of getting at least 8-channel IP and 8-channel AHD all converged in one platform using our smart XVR. This is something that we are sure of delivering to you at ZKTeco. And the output is still in high definition that you can be sure of. And it supports the 4-in-1 format. By 4-in-1, we are talking about the video format like the AHD, TVI, CVI, CVS, and the IP video output, the 4-in-1 format, and the compression method too. Quickly, let's dive into our PT cameras, our PTZ cameras. Our PTZ cameras, we are talking about the IP PTZ cameras because it's worth noting that we have the IP PTZ and we have the AHD PTZ. For the IP PTZ, you can be sure of getting digital wide display range. So digital wide display range is just the aspect that your video comes in. Some PTZ in the market, your aspects are viewed in a narrow aspect. But with ZKTeco IP cameras, you get a wide display range of view. And the sensor, like I already mentioned, is the Sony sensor, Starvis sensor, and 2D and 3D noise reduction. Let's talk a little bit about the noise reduction. PTZ cameras, which we know to do pan, tilt, and zoom, they are cameras that are mostly deployed for densely populated places. And because of this, it is best to go for a camera that has noise reduction. So for example, you have a camera deployed in a place like Balogun Market, for example. Because of the nature of Balogun Market, you want to be able to get a noise reduction activated camera so that you are able to pinpoint certain noise or certain audio from the camera that are within a given meters. Else, you just be getting a distortion from your end at the receiving end. So it is also important to note that all our ZKTeco PTZ IP cameras come with 2D and 3D noise reduction. Hence, you are sure of getting at least a fine-tuned sound output for the cameras if you want to do your two-way audio system to get a feel of what is happening at the location where the camera is deployed. So the noise reduction is a unique feature to look out for with our PTZ IP cameras. And we have the PTZ large and the PTZ small that are able to do up to 18 times zoom. The cameras are able to do 18 times the optical zoom. And what you see on your display now is a range of IP cameras and AHD camera, PTZ cameras. We have the EZ series and the WZ series. So now let's really dive into our ZKTeco AHD cameras and their NVR. Just like our IP cameras, the AHD cameras also come in the BL, EL, DS, DL formats. Bullets, eyeball, dome, and these are the formats that they come in. We have them in 7P resolution, 720p resolution. We have them in 1 megapixel. We have 2 megapixel. We have 5 megapixel, and they also come with the Sony CMOS sensor. They are also 4-in-1, meaning they are able to do the AHD, TVI, CVI, and CVBS video output. But for you to get this video output, you need to be sure that the DVR you're running this camera on has the feature to play this video format. So if your video DVR is only able to run AHD video output, you can be sure the cameras would work on it. And just like our IP camera, they're able to withstand up to 6 kilovolts of lightning, and they can withstand good outdoor use because they are IP67. What you can see on your screen is our fixed lens AHD camera variant that we have, different variants of AHD cameras we have. And for the MVR, the DVR that runs the footage on the AHD cameras, they're able to deliver 1080p high resolution image and comes with H.264 compression. And they are also able to work with third-party video management solution. So for clients who already have their solution, CMS or VMS that are used to manage their video, you can be sure that DVR would work with it. On our AHD PTZ cameras, just like our IP, they also have the noise reduction. They're able to do digital wide display range, and they can do from 10 to 33 times optical zoom. And because of the where they deploy that, they can withstand fairly good outdoor usage because all our IP, all our AHD PTZ camera are IP66 compliant, so they can withstand good outdoor use. So with a digital wide dynamic range, this is a software that enhances the image quality by adjusting the value, the gamma value of your camera footage output. So with this, you are sure of getting true image, true color, true aspect of your CCTV footage. Is something that all our PTZ camera comes with, equipped with AHD and IP. A quick look at some of the cameras we have are 4-in-1 AHD PTZ. We have them in different variants, depending on the optical zoom that you want. If you want a 10 times, you want 18 times. If you want a speed zoom fixed motorized, something that ZKTeco has an end-to-end product and NVR and DVR solution that manage the output of such cameras from deployment to viewing. Now, let's quickly dive into some of our intelligent video analysis function that you get when you deploy a ZKTeco surveillance cameras, be it IP, mostly IP, and some of the AHD have these features, depending on the kind of AHD you're going for, though. But most AHD come with limited IVA features. For you to get the whole of these features that you're seeing on your screen, then you should be going for a IP cameras. But for PTZ, you can get most of these features too for the AHD PTZ. So for the first IVA we're looking at is facial detection. Facial detection intrusion alert, target counting, tripwire, various video formatting, object lost and theft, scene change, and sound detection. I really would have want to go into this video analysis one by one, but I understand that. That is why the next page you'll be seeing will be a video that would break down this intelligent video analysis feature of ZKTeco cameras. Please watch and note how these cameras are able to deploy this feature and the output you get whenever these features are activated. Yeah, so there's no volume because it's deliberate. So I want to do some narrative while I'm playing the video. So what you're seeing there is a typical scenario of an intelligent video analysis for fire detection. So someone is putting on a fire and a camera that has the feature, an IVA feature activated is on. And when that feature is triggered, you look at what happened. You see a red notification on the camera. A red notification showing that there is fire. A fire notification. And this can also be done such that you can connect an alarm to it, so that every time there's a fire notification, the alarm is triggered from the back end. A notification is given. So when a notification is given, you see the red alerts. It notifies the admin. So that's one of the features. Then now let's look at target counting. Target counting now, can you see it's counting the number of people that are coming in? 7 of 50, 8 of 50, 9 of 50. So with such target counting, you are able to do, okay, if you have 50 staff in an office, you want to be able to know when the 50 has arrived at a given time. With target counting activated, every time a staff walks into a premises, his face triggers a notification that such number of person has already submitted for duty. Target counting, head count. That's one feature of the intelligent video analysis. Then another feature is the target scenario target entry. So for a scenario target entry, what does this mean? So let's assume you want to be able to limit a parking space for the empty. If you want to limit the parking space for the empty without installing a boom barrier, you want to use your cameras rather, to crop certain space and reserve it. So when that space there's a vehicle on that space, it triggers an alarm notifying you. Can you see what's happening on your screen? This aspect that you see on green has been marked out as a reserved space. So whenever there is a car or a human that goes into this reserved space, it triggers an alarm. Every time he enters the space, an alarm is triggered. Then another feature is the object theft and loss. So with such an intelligent video analysis enabled on ZKTeco cameras, you can do a mapping of your office such that when a chair is moved or when an object is moved, the admin who has the backend access of your VMS or your CMS who is managing your camera is able to see that an object has left that scene. That is what we are getting on this video here. That's what we are getting. Can you see? The minute he picks that object, a notification is triggered. Another object is used to replace it. It's also giving notification because that's not the object that was there. Then another intelligent feature is the tripwire. So how does this work? Tripwire works in a way where you want to reserve certain place for unauthorized staff or unauthorized entry, such that if, let's say, for example, Josh does not have access to go to the account department, every time Josh arrives at the account door and crosses a tripwire, a notification is triggered to the administrator from the back end. Look at, someone trying to cross over a fence. It means he crosses over a tripwire, it triggers an alarm. This is a tripwire feature. And lastly, the facial detection, capturing face of up to 20 faces in a second. So this is just a quick look what the IVA function does for our cameras. So now let's round up looking at our video management solutions rather. Of video management software, we have two-in-one software. We have the AntaVis 2.0 and we have the AntaVis 8000. One is for enterprise use, for those who have cameras deployed at office, less than 100 cameras to view. And for those who have massive footage, different location, integrated, and they want to get a centralized view, then the AntaVis 8000 becomes the best solution to deploy, to manage all your coverage, your CCTV viewing from one platform. So whether you're going for AntaVis 2.0 or AntaView, it will be dependent on the feature that you want in your cameras and the number of CCTV you have deployed at a given location. Then because we understand that the world is going digital and majority of people would rather do things on their mobile phone, that is why we are giving you AntaView Pro, a mobile application where you can view every footage on every ZKTeco cameras, be it HD, be it IP, be it Speed Dome, or PTZ. With AntaView Pro, you can get an on-the-go view of your CCTV footage, irrespective of the type. Thank you very much for tying in. At this point now, I'll be handing over the baton to my colleague, who will be taking over the business use cases. Kelechi Okolo, you have the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Josh. And thank you for that wonderful presentation. I believe we've been able to pick one or two things from Josh's presentation. And for me, I will look at the business case and the use cases for ZKTeco cameras, basically. And from there, we'll be able to round up this meeting as quickly as possible. So for the business case, or for the use case of ZKTeco cameras, and we look at a number of places or a number of use case scenario where our cameras or these cameras can be used, the various places they can be used, and the functionalities or the core function that each of these CCTV or these solutions can offer us, both to our clients and to our partners. For example, we have a transportation hub. Our CCTV cameras can actually be used in transportation hubs, especially for real-time facial recognition cameras. We can use this in various transportation hubs. And a good thing, we have a number of transportation hubs springing up in Nigeria. We talk about airports, we talk about train stations, we talk about rail stations, we talk about taxi hubs. A number of them springing up both in the states, in various states. These real-time facial recognition cameras can actually be used in these particular scenarios. For outdoor events, venues like crossroad, squares, streets, amusement parks, children playground, we can also use these real-time facial recognition systems for those places. Then we talk about for entertainment. We are looking at our internet cafes. We're looking at our karaoke lounge and bars. We are looking at our spa centers. Each of these places has, we can actually use this ZKTeco real-time facial recognition cameras for these particular places for specific use. Number one being that there are actually areas where we have a high velocity or high influx of human traffic. And the good thing, we can actually use this both for surveillance, for deterrence purposes, and also to monitor proceedings across each of these areas, especially with having security in mind. Then we talk about accommodation or leisure parks. We talk about hotels, we talk about hostels, and we talk about campuses and all that, where we have also high influx of human traffic. We can also use this facial recognition camera. Then for business premises, corporate offices, malls, and convenience stores, supermarkets, and all that. And we look at the core functions, like my colleague Josh rightly said, the core functions of these ZKTeco cameras. Josh has actually mentioned about the facial recognition task. These cameras can actually detect facial recognition, and also not only detect, and they can save these facial recognition templates, and they can actually match this template with this facial recognition with existing templates that they've previously captured. Then they can also perform management of target libraries, so that if you have a face that is already captured, and each time that particular face steps into an organization or into the vicinity of this camera can actually easily pick this face and match it with an already existing face in its database. Then for real-time snapshot, one of the unique features, which my colleague has actually mentioned, is the FPS, that's the frame per second features. Our camera just actually said as much as 20, but we have these cameras that can take as much as 30 frames per second. That means it can match 30 different faces at a single second. That means irrespective of the number of persons you have within a vicinity, this camera can actually capture them and save those face templates, or take a snapshot of those face templates within a few seconds or within a few time frame. Then smart alert also. We have these unique features where if we want to generate smart alert, for example, someone has been placed on a wanted list. At any point in time, this camera captures this person's image, and it can actually match it with an already existing template or face that is already on a wanted list. Automatically, it alerts the admin person, or probably somebody that has been blacklisted from entering a particular vicinity. The moment he steps in, this camera has the capacity as a major function to actually send an alert notifying the admin person that someone that has been blacklisted or that is on a wanted list has actually stepped into the premise. Then also for record and inquiries, you can also pull out a whole number of records. This camera template can also save a number of records, and these records can be generated both for contact tracing or for any of for analysis, or for any of other use cases that those records may be applicable for. Then we also look at the facial template matching server. This is actually the server that actually does the work of matching this face. Part of the input is that it takes in facial images. Like I said, these cameras or this solution can actually capture as much as 30 images, 30 frames of images, and save them per second. It can actually take in as part of its input facial images and also the facial characteristics, because once it's saving these images, there are certain characteristics based on the algorithm that is used to save this face, so that if another face comes in and match the same characteristics, so actually it's able to link those faces together. If I come in with a particular facial characteristics, if I'm coming in for the second time again, it's actually matching me based on the facial characteristics it registered me or it captured me with in the first instance. And at the particular point where these facial characteristics match, it can actually link me to that particular face. And then for the output, we have you can also see the face snapshot. You can also see the facial characteristics based on what has already been captured, and then also other basic information around the face matching, and also the alert. It can also notify the admin person based on preset parameters. Then we also look at the HD IP cameras. We look at some of the features. What makes this camera actually unique is a 2MP camera with a 1920 by 180 1080 resolution. And like I said, also it can take as much as 30 face frame per second. That means it can match as much as 30 faces in a single second. Then it has a very good compression, H.265. That means irrespective of the size of the video, it can actually compress this to the barest minimum. That's not a relinquishing, or that not tampering with the quality of the video. You still have a very good quality and also at a very, very reduced bandwidth of the storage. Then for the interface protocol, my colleague Josh has actually mentioned these are on-viv. That means you can actually do a whole lot of integration with their open interface. That means they are open to other integration with other third-party application or solutions. Then we look at the application areas. Where can these cameras be deployed? We have the commercial, for example, we have the commercial properties, hotel lobbies, clubhouse, and centers. These are places where these cameras can be deployed. Areas where security, areas where prompt real-time monitoring is actually an issue. They want to get on time or on the premise notification of whatever is going on around their premise. These are areas, or these are places where these cameras can be installed. For gyms, for hotels, and other external facilities. You can quickly, this actually makes them to quickly and accurately identify members. When members of, for example, if you have a club with registered members and those registered members already have their face template already captured in the device server, anytime they are stepping in, it actually notifies you that, okay, a member of the club, a registered member or a VIP or a VVVIP is stepping into the building, and if necessary arrangement need to be made, you can, the owner or the owner of the facility can actually make those arrangements to welcome their VIP or VVIP person, as the case may be. Then for executive, for office building, for corporate offices, where real-time monitoring is also an issue, and where they need to keep tab on who comes in and who steps out of the place. These cameras actually serve those needs. It can help in automatic identification of thieves. For example, banks, banks need to know who steps into the bank, who steps out, how many times a number in the week does a particular customer step into the bank, and all those. These are actually places where these cameras can be usefully applied, especially for monitoring people coming in, for monitoring, for security purposes, for registration of visitors, and also for controlling of those visitors. Again, also for apartment community, for estates, for example, where security is an issue, you need to know the number of people living in the estate, or you need to identify owner of properties in the estate. You can actually have these cameras also installed in these kind of places, so that for is actually registered on the server of this solution. So at which point they come in, it can actually pinpoint that this person is a resident in the estate, or this person is a visitor, or another person is just a random person walking by. So with that, you can be able to make intelligent decisions. Then also for other public places that require intelligence, these are actually places that you can have these cameras installed. Also, we can talk about for the oil and gas sector. My colleague Josh mentioned of the tripwire. I know a majority of the oil and gas sector actually have this tripwire of a thing. Is actually a unique selling point for them. So for us and for our partners, it's something that we can actually build a business case around. They can use our cameras to actually identify their tripwire. Most of the oil company facilities, there are areas that have been earmarked for people not to step into. So instead of having maybe a rope or more like a demarcation, you can actually use this camera, because you can actually use this camera to set a tripwire area, so that once someone steps into those areas, it triggers an alert or an alarm to the person at the control room or the admin person. Also, like my colleague also said, for areas where we need to do a whole lot of integration, video linkage, these cameras, especially for the oil and gas, the banking sector, where we have to do a whole lot of video linkage. We want to link your video to your fire alarm system, to the sprinkler system. Good thing, just like my colleague Josh also said, we can do this linkage of these CCTV cameras to your fire alarm system, so that the moment it senses a fire, it can also send an alert. And if it's well linked properly or well integrated to the sprinkler system, it can actually trigger the sprinkler system to begin to sprinkle within those areas where it has detected fire. So a whole lot of use cases that we have for these particular CCTV cameras. So the question is on us as partners now, where can we get this deployed? We have a whole number of corporate buildings that require these cameras within Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, oil facilities, transportation hub. If we have any clients within those areas, we can actually begin to pitch these solutions to them. And the good thing, we also have the in-house person that can always assist us in terms of if we need to make a business case or develop a business case to actually suit your clients on the needs and also the purpose or the core function or functionalities of these cameras. These are just about a number of some of the use cases that we can use these cameras for, but on the whole, ZKTeco cameras can actually be used in any of these environments, and it can actually achieve the purpose in terms of security, in terms of surveillance, in terms of holding back, making deterrence and all that. I would like to hand over back to my colleague Josh to quickly round this up, and we'll take a quick survey before we end this session. Thank you. Josh.
All right, thank you so much, Okolo. And thank you so much, Josh, for that wonderful presentation. I'm sure we all enjoyed this presentation and also this session. Without further ado, I will quickly launch a poll, and I will also want us to quickly help with your opinions on these polls, as you may rightly deem it fit. And we would appreciate your feedback as it relates to whatever your inputs are. And thereafter, we'll quickly launch into the questions and answers session. Thank you. So we'll take this poll for the next 1 minute, 1 to 2, then we'll move into the Q&A session. Thank you. So I'm launching now. It's going to take just 1 to 2 minutes. As soon as we have 80% entry in, we can proceed into the question and answer session. Thank you.
We still have about 11 participants, attendees who are yet to bring in their pool. We really appreciate your pooling so that we improve on the quality of our products, our training, as well as our interaction with you. So for those who have not done the pooling, we want to do well to take part in the pool so that we get the good feedback so that we know on how to improve on our products and service as ZKTeco. So if you've not taken the pool, please, it will be very much appreciated if you can just quickly take the pool. It's less than a minute, you'll be done, please. Thank you very much. Okay. So on this note, we'll be ending the pool now, and we'll be moving to a brief Q&A session for us to do justice to some questions. So for those who have not taken part in the pool, you can also send you a link for you to do that. So we'll be moving to the question and answer session now, as we intend running up in the next 15 minutes. So for those who have questions, please, you want to indicate. So I can see Judith Ike. Judith Ike, please. Judith Ike, you have a question. Okay, Judith, you can unmute yourself and talk now. Hello, Judith. Can you unmute your mic?
Yes, I have. Can you hear me now? Okay. I didn't actually follow the training from the start, so but from where I started, because I'm in sex center now, I get a lot of questions like these cameras, like does it have this infrared? The ones I have here, does it have infrared? Like, does it recognize? Does it work on internet? The ones I have here. So
okay, so
I don't know.
To quickly answer you, so because of the ONVIF is like a universal platform that gives a standard for cameras. For a camera to be ONVIF compliant, it needs to have an infrared. Infrared is just a method of a camera to see in low light or in darkness. So in fact, all ZKTeco products comes with an infrared because that is what enables them to see at night. They use the infrared lens rays to be able to see at night. So yes, they have infrared. For you to be able to see if a camera has infrared, at the top of the camera, you see a sensor that is circling. Use your hand to cover that sensor. A red light will pop up. That red light you see at night or when that infrared is covered is the infrared light that allow you to do night vision. Then about if it works on internet, yes, ZKTeco cameras all work on the internet and you can view them on your phone. But that is dependent on if your NVRO or your DVRO is hosted or connected to a cloud. And for you to do that, it means your DVRO or NVRO must be connected to an internet.
Okay.
You must download for the normal camera, except for the wireless cameras, you need an ZKTeco app. But for the normal ZKTeco cameras, you need View Pro that you download from Google Play Store to view your camera footage remotely, and your NVRO must be connected to an internet. There is an internet port at the back of your NVRO or DVRO.
Okay.
Once you've done that, you can view it remotely from anywhere using the AnswerView app. Does that clear your question, Ms. Judith?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
it has.
Thank you very much. So
Thank
we'll go
you.
to the next person now, Mr. Ojelade Akorode. Please go ahead with your question. Akorode, please, can you unmute your mic and go ahead with your question, please? In the absence of Mr. Ojelade unmuting, I will call on the next person. Mr. Temidayo, please go ahead with your question. Temidayo Akito.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, please.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the class. The question I have is your cameras, I mean are the analog cameras, do they have audio?
Okay.
Do you have audio cameras? Number one. And then number two, if you have audio cameras, do I need to run another cable, or I just use the normal RG59 cable that I've used to run how do I put it now? The number, do I need to run extra cable? That's what I just need to ask. Do you get? So do they have audio? And if they have audio, do I need to run extra cable on it to be able to enable the audio? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Temidayo. So for the cameras, for the AHD, the analog cameras, though most of the analog don't come with the audio feature, okay? And for cameras that come with audio features, it means for those cameras, you will see three connecting ports at the end of the cameras. And if you are using the normal RG cable for AHD, it will not be able to transmit audio. So for such AHD that has that audio feature, there will be a different port that you can connect your AV and AV cable, your audio and video cable to. That's for AHD that has the audio feature. But the only audio cameras that we know currently have available in stock at ZKTeco on ground that has a two-way audio they are the IP cameras. For those IP cameras, you have to get your the cameras come with their own mic, but for you to get your audio line, you need an independent connection that connects the audio to your NVR. Is that clear with you, please?
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear. But what I want to ask, that means if I'm using the AHD camera, that means if it's audio enabled, if it has the audio port, like we said, that means I'll run the normal cable for the video and the power. Then I'll have to run
another cable for the audio line. Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's what I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So, yeah, maybe subsequently.
Okay, I'm with you. Mr. Ojelade, you had a question.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Mr. Akorode.
Hello.
Yeah, you're very low. Please, can you speak up a little bit?
Can you hear me now?
I can barely hear you.
Good afternoon. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So what the question I need to ask is on this management software.
Okay.
So can it work with any other camera?
If the management software would work with any other camera?
Yeah, like Vision and others, in case if I want to use it as a CMS.
The thing is, for the AnswerViz and the AnswerView, it's a ZKTeco product, and it's a ZKTeco video management solution. So if it will work with other third-party products, well, that I don't know. I need to confirm that. But one thing I know for sure is that if you are using NVRO or DVRO, it would work, irrespective of the camera that you're connected to it. You understand?
Okay.
But if you are using an NVRO or DVR, it's going to work. I will assure you of that because it's been tested. But if you are using another brand, NVR or DVR, you know, the protocol of production might be different and connectivity.
Yeah,
You understand? Yeah.
Secondly, like bank, you have if I install your product in several branches, like many branches, 10, 20 or whatever, can it be viewed in the head office with
That
your
is what is
management?
yeah, that is yes, that is what the CMS is for. The answer view and the answer views. That is what they are for. And you know, for the answer views and the answer view, you have viewing rights depending on who is an administrator, who has other viewing rights, and who you want to allocate to have remote viewing, depending on how it is configured. Yes, that can be achieved.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Does that answer your question, please?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for joining. Mr. Olaito, you have a question. Can you unmute and ask your question, please?
Hello.
Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for the impactful training.
Thank you, sir.
So I said I just want to make two clarification. One, the IP camera, are they very focal? So that in the essence, when you start, maybe there's a distance of like 50 meters and you need to zoom to view view the image. Are you going to get that? That's one. Secondly, are you also going to get the?
So what? I didn't get you.
Okay, and secondly, you were talking about you have a standalone backup IP camera. How many hours does that backup stand? Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Hello?
I'm with you, just background noise.
So I said, the second question, how many hours does that backup IP camera stand?
Okay, so
Nope.
The first question, I am with you. I'm responding to your question. So the first question, asking if the lenses are varifocal, right? So on a lens being varifocal, you know, we have we have different kind of lens. We have the fixed and the motorized and varifocal lens. So for the ones, if you're looking at varifocal, they are product line, ZKTeco product line that comes with varifocal lens. Here we can do different angle viewing, different meters in terms of how far the person is and all that likes. So it depends on what you want.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you want a situation where you want to go to zoom in to see those who are far, yes, you have that. And but for such a product, is it for outdoor or indoor?
It's outdoor.
Outdoor. Then why not go for a speed dome or a PTZ? These are high-end cameras that will give you that value for varifocal lenses.
Okay. So I think I'm waiting easy from you guys, and I think another the other ones are not PTZ. But anyway, probably maybe I'll give you a call after the training.
Not a problem.
Hello?
Yes, okay, I said not a problem. We're expecting your call, Mr. Light.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
Mr. Chinedu Okobisi, you have a question, please. Can you ask your question, please?
Chinedu Okoboshi, actually, my name.
Okobishi, pardon me, please. Pardon me.
Yeah, that's fine. Actually, I haven't used any of your products, but I've been quite interested. Anyway, someone almost asked the question I was going to ask, but I guess what I wanted to know is your standalone IP camera that come with backup battery power. How does it work? And then secondly, is the backup power a more cost-effective solution to solar power?
Okay, so about cameras that come with backup power. For the cameras that come with backup power, if you notice, it was not on the presentation that the webinar we had today, and it was deliberate. At ZKTeco, we have two brands of products. we have the ZKTeco products that are for our smart homes, and we have the normal ZKTeco range of products. So we've deliberately taken our cameras, especially the ones that will come with a backup power, to our smart home category. That's the ZKTeco product range line of products. And so for those cameras, we have the cameras, smart IP cameras, wireless cameras that comes with the backup power. So deciding if you want something that goes with a built-in battery or a solar, but most of the cameras we've seen that are in our ZKTeco category, most of them, especially for the outdoor units, they come with a built-in power that is charged by a solar power. So you have a built-in power to keep it sustained when the sun is not out, right? A built-in power that is able to last for a reasonable amount of time, let's say 4 or 5 hours or 6 hours. So whenever the sun starts coming out, the solar charges the battery. So most times you find out that such standalone cameras, wireless cameras for our smart home categories, they come with built-in backup with a solar panel for it. It's still a product range that we are developing in view of the market. So the market will determine well how we would go with that product, but it's not on our full-fledged ZKTeco range of products. They are under the ZKTeco ZKTeco range of products for the wireless IP cameras that are standalone. Does that answer your question, Mr. Chief?
Yes, it does. It does. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much. Have a great day. Mr. Lucky, please, you have a question. So Lucky, go ahead with your question, please.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, Josh.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Lucky.
Question basically is I'm looking at, I don't know if you guys have an IP Wi-Fi camera we're trying to position for a client that need an all Wi-Fi cameras for his restaurant. So we're looking at about 18 to 20 cameras for the restaurant, and he wants everything to be on Wi-Fi. That is, yes, Wi-Fi camera basically.
Yes, we have it available. Discuss with your business relationship person.
Okay. Okay.
Who is your business manager, please?
And the clients will be able to view these, view the cameras remotely and store the files to the record remotely.
Okay, so not a problem. My colleague Kelechi will respond to you on that. Yes, we have such cameras.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Would that be all, Mr. Lucky, please?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. Mr. Ovaga Jude, you have a question, please go ahead and ask your question.
Good morning.
Yeah, Mr. Jude, good morning.
I appreciate you guys' training. It's very impactful.
Thanks so much, sir. Thanks for being attendance.
Okay, sir. So I use you guys' products in some of my sites.
Okay, sir.
I have some challenges. I wanted to know if that can be solved or if there is a mathematical way of getting the right thing over there. I usually have an issue of internet viewing. Some guys are using MTN data, and within a few hours they will be complaining that the data is finished. You know, some are using the dedicated internet, but I wanted to know if there is a way of getting an accurate bandwidth to particular cameras. If I'm using 2 cameras, what bandwidth can I get from my ISP? If I'm using 10, 32 camera, what good bandwidth can I get so that they can remotely view the cameras? These are basically my questions.
So, sir, if I would ask still to get clarifications, are the cameras you're talking about, are they IP cameras, wireless cameras? What type of cameras, please?
They are wireless cameras.
Okay, that should be the ZKTeco cameras. Am I right?
Yes, yes, you're right.
Okay, so for the wireless cameras, have you turned on motion detection?
Yes.
If motion detection is activated?
Yes, it's on.
Okay. So if motion detection is on, like CCTV, it's a streaming platform. So it's just like saying, for example, if I'm viewing my CCTV footage in my office on my phone for like 3 hours, it's like I'm streaming a 3 hours movie.
Okay.
Right? So the
Oh,
best
yeah.
thing that would help them in that case is, they can either do a local storage by getting a memory card on the camera. So with a memory card on the camera, every footage is stored locally. They are only able to view the camera when they need it.
Okay.
But because true is that if you're streaming, it's a wireless camera, it's connected to an internet. The more you view
Yes.
on the app, it's just like you're streaming. So if I'm on my ZKTeco app for like 2 hours, it's like I've just streamed 2 hours of YouTube. That's how it works.
Okay. Okay.
That's how
Okay.
it works.
Okay.
The best for that option would be to use a local cloud storage or use a cloud storage. Any of the options you decide to go for. So that way you can do a playback. A playback of, okay, when you're back home, you want to know what happened when you were away. You do a playback. And if you say you want to stay on it 247 and keep watching, you are streaming packets. And as long as you're streaming packets, your bandwidth will be charged. Sir.
Okay. Okay. I think you cleared. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Thanks so much, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Abdullahi Hassan, you have a question. Please go ahead and ask your question, please.
Okay, yeah. The question I want to ask is on the CMS software. I think is it Interview 800? Does it come free like the interview? Because I've used the interview and I was blown away by that software. I like the software. It works very well. And there was a guy that was asking whether it supported third-party cameras. It does, because I use some cameras that are not ZKTeco, and the software was able to work with it. I think they work as long as they support on beef protocol. So my just question is that software is it free?
The interview?
No, the CMS.
No, the CMS is an enterprise, so it's not free.
Okay.
And thanks for bringing clarity to that question. Okay, that's a first-hand experience.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
So I just want to ask you, please, Mr. Abdullahi. So the DVR or MVR you were using it for, is it a ZKTeco product?
Yeah, it's a ZKTeco product. I was using that the XBR. I use that XBR.
Okay, use ZKTeco XBR.
Yeah, before the XBR came, because we had some delays for delivery, I was using the software. The clients were not complaining. They complained in the Antavis 2.0. So it works perfectly. I like the camera. This is my first time of using that. I think it works very well. And I'll still come back for it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdullahi, for that feedback. It really makes us happy.
Yeah, thanks.
I know you're happy. Thanks so much. And lastly, Mr. The person on Downway Tech. Downway Tech, please go ahead with your question. Downway Tech, please, can you proceed with your question? Okay. In the absence of that, we want to thank you all for tying into this webinar session. We really appreciate you. And if you have any question, please feel free to reach out. Okay, Mr. Downway, I'm with you, please. Can you proceed with your question?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, I enjoyed this training. What I want to ask, I know there's a caller that asked a question about HD audio camera. I'm interested. I find out that you are talking about, the ones that come with 3 cable and stuff like that. Yeah, good. But I find out that other manufacturer, I'm thinking if it's possible for you to have that, whereby we have a camera, the coaxial cable, or you use UTP cable, the same cable, you just plug it to your DVR, and your what's it called, your DVR will bring out the voice. You don't need to plug at the back of the DVR separately. One singular camera does the same thing. it's an audio camera, it's embedded. We use it like that. I'll be happy yours can have such as well, such facility. So this can help installers instead of running another cable or doing, I don't know if you have such.
No, we have such, but the
Okay.
thing is, it is different. What I'm saying is, it's not like how do I put it? Like the normal the PA. There are some cameras that are PoE,
Yeah.
okay,
I know.
that also have
Yeah.
audio, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's not like that. But for the cameras, it's a separate port for audio. So you can use that feature that you're currently using, and you can also use the other normal one where you connect your AV cable.
Oh,
So
okay.
Yes. So what we do as ZKTeco, we take this feedback now. If we are bringing in audio cameras for IP and AHD, we'll try and bring in both in for the market.
Okay, and one second thing that I would like to emphasize here is, please, to us that we sell to people, that we manage clients, help us do something as in pricing. There are a lot of products, but I believe I buy your access control a lot, your time attendance, it works fine. For the IP camera, I want to do much. I want to buy, but let us look at our prices. Help us. I know you sell quality, good stuff, but let us look at, like this Nigeria. You have to, anything we are doing in Nigeria, we always consider price, the customer end. Please help us look into this. Let's see what we can do, at least the minor we can make from it. Then we can push it very well to clients. Thank you very much.
So that way your feedback has been gotten. We take it, we run with it, and we see what we can do.
All right, thank you.
Thanks so much.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
all for tying in. We really appreciate you. Please do well to subscribe to our Facebook page, our Twitter page, our YouTube channel, since on this platform you get more of content from ZKTeco. Thank you very much. And for those who are interested in getting the materials for this presentation, yes, the link has been shared on the chat column. You can click on the link to get the material that was used for this training. And if you have any question, please do well to reach out to your business development manager or sales@zkteco-wa.com. We'll be more than glad to assist you any way we can. Have a nice day. Stay safe. From myself, thanks so much. My colleagues want to say their party message to you before we round up this session.
All right, thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to get your communication and give you the necessary feedback. And in the event that you need any support, you need any inquiry relating to price, relating to product specification, relating to speccing, you can reach any of the business managers, or you can, like my colleague said, you can just send a mail to us at sales@zkteco-wa.com. And you'll be guaranteed that you get a response as soon as possible. Thank you very much once again, and do enjoy the rest of your day.